is the star of CNBC's Money Court. He is also a shark in Shark Tank, which is nominated for every single last thing it needs to be nominated for. He was on the show in person about 4 years ago, and he called in a couple times, including this one. Kevin O'Leary back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How you doing, Kevin?
Great to be here, Rich. Thank you.
Great to have you here. Where have I called? Where have I found you? Where are you in this great North America? Where are you, Kevin? Where have I found you?
Well, I'm in transit right now, actually, on my way to New York. So we've got a big airing of our second episode of Money Court. I'm excited about it.
Tonight. So why did you decide to take on yet even more for you to do, Kevin, for something like this? What did you do this for?
I do this all day long, Rich. I have 30-plus companies, and every day in, the trials and tribulations, particularly in the last year and a half, I've got some companies that are having euphoric outcomes in one day and others that are in a catastrophe through litigation or whatever. So I'm constantly arbitrating situations. I do this every single day. And so what we've done here, you're probably aware that in our court system over the last year and a half, we've got a massive logjam of thousands of cases that are not going to get to trial, and yet there's serious litigation going on here that's destroying businesses. So this is a court show not like any other. This is not about the dog barking next door eating your homework or something. This is real litigation where people are suing each other, and it's very, very difficult sometimes to watch this happen. It just tears families apart, tears customers apart with companies. It's crazy stuff, and it's very compelling.
And they agree to abide by the decision of the Money Court, regardless.
And so here's what we've got. It's a rather remarkable outcome.
Yes.
You sued somebody. You have litigants. They're suing. Mm-hmm. They're in the queue in the court system. They realize it may be years before their trial is heard, but they've got to get a resolution. They have to find somebody they trust to arbitrate the case. What I've assembled is a really great team. I've got Adiposa, who's a federal judge. She sat on the bench. She's got a meter like you've never seen. She really knows when someone's lying to her. And I've also got Katie Fang, who's an actual trial attorney. So they've got the law nailed down. They read the case. They see the docket. They tell me what the law says I should do. But I don't always listen to that. I have the final decision. I want to save the business. I want to do what's right to save a business that has employees, it's got customers and shareholders. So I'm going to find that middle ground. And the remarkable situation is these litigants sign that arbitration agreement, that contract. And as one said to me, look, I don't really like you, Mr. Wonderful, but I trust you. And I like that. I'd rather be trusted than win a popularity contest.
Okay. So, it's interesting. We could have had you, if the case of Aaron Rodgers versus the Green Bay Packers from April all the way through to about July was in front of you, where there's a kind of ironclad contract between Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, but he wants more of a say in the business. Is that something that, obviously they're not suing each other, but that is a dispute that we could have used you, Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary, to sort of knock some heads together, I think. That would have been good.
I would have loved that case. Aaron Rodgers kicked my ass on Jeopardy. I'd love to get that.
So some of these things aren't completely impartial. There is a little bit of the personal that comes into something like this.
No. Listen, the truth is when I have to actually judge a case, where these cases, I got to tell you something. I've made a lot of television in my time.
You have,
and we were rehearsing for this, getting the right cast and all the cases teed up.
Yes.
We get into the studio. We shot this thing in NBC Universal, Telemundo in Miami, which is, I've never seen a studio like that. It's the size of an airport. It's all digital. It's state-of-the-art. They did the Olympics out of there. It is the best studio in the world. Mm-hmm. And so maybe there were 100 people on the set. Now, when these professionals come in, they make television. They're jaundiced. They're the studio people, the sound people, the lighting people, the gaffers, the catering, the makeup, all that. Maybe 100, maybe 120. I don't know, a lot of people. And so, they make the TV. They don't watch it. They make it. They're running the cameras and the soundboards and everything. I look over to my right, and every room has a line feed monitor, because when you're shooting this with multiple cameras, there's an editor in the truck making a quick line feed for reference, and it's coming across to all the studio space. I look over to my right in the middle of a case, and there's 20 professionals there glued to the line feed monitor. They're not at the soundboard anymore. They're watching the show. They should be making the show, not watching the show. And then at the break, the woman that does my makeup comes up to me and says, "You're an asshole. I hated the way you adjudicated that case. You didn't give enough money to the daughter." And I thought to myself, she's totally engaged. We got a hit. We got a monster hit. When the people that are making the TV are watching the TV, you got a hit, and that's exactly what's happening.
So when you're being told you're being an a-hole, does that mean deep down, Kevin O'Leary, you know you're doing your job properly? Like, is that
yes,
how you receive it?
I'm doing the right thing. You know, the thing. I am, because if and when they do the exit interviews with the people that now have to abide by my ruling,
yes,
they asked 90% of them said they were okay with it, and in most cases nobody was happy. That means I did a great job. Everybody left something on the table. That's a good outcome.
A new episode of Money Court tonight and every Wednesday on CNBC at 10 p.m. Eastern Time with Kevin O'Leary of Money Court joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show, and then, of course, of Shark Tank. How did you find Alex Rodriguez when he showed up on Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary? What'd you think of A-Rod?
I've worked with Alex before. We've done a lot of stuff together. He's been on Shark Tank multiple times. Very interesting guy. Major focus is real estate. That's what he does.
Okay.
You know, each of these sharks or guest sharks have a vertical that they're specialty in, and he's a real estate guy. That's what he knows. So he's a cash flow guy, real estate guy. Real estate's all about servicing debt on these buildings and getting cash payments. So that's his specialty. And I think it's good to bring these different disciplines onto the Shark Tank because it keeps it interesting.
So was he a threat in a way to Barbara Corcoran as to what she used to do, or that she just sticked A-Rod aside pretty much when it come down to that?
No,
Kevin?
I mean, I think those two are as close as they could be because they know each other from previous years, and particularly New York real estate. In fact, they've done a couple of deals together in apartment buildings. Now, Barbara's special. I've known her a long time. She's a great cook. When I go to New York, we get together. I'm a chef, too. And we enjoy each other's company. But I must tell you something. The only reason she gets to Shark Tank on time, and we're in the middle of shooting season 13 right now,
yes,
is I bought her a new broom.
I think I saw that coming.
I've been saying that for years.
I know you have.
Joke about Barbara. She loves it.
I know. She does actually find that joke funny. I've seen her actually laugh at it because, as you know.
What troubles her,
yes,
she has no comeback. That's the problem. It kills her.
Well, I mean, just, I guess they just expect it from you, Kevin. You know what I mean? Like they see that one coming and, and so.
I get it.
Which is your Shark Tank acquisition business deal you're most proud of, most successful, as you and I are talking right now, Kevin?
Well, if you measure it by return on investment, it has to be plated. It's the largest exit in Shark Tank history, $340 million cash. The company was bought by Albertsons after Amazon bought Whole Foods. They wanted a digital strategy. It was one of the companies that was doing meal kits. It had kitchens in Chicago, New York, and L.A. We've been spending a lot of time and money building that up, and they bought it. And I think what's so interesting is that was the beginning of the whole digital movement, direct-to-consumer in the food space, very early on. And those are a couple of guys that came on Shark Tank with nothing. They became multimillionaires in 36 months. And so it does happen on Shark Tank. These outcomes are extraordinary. We've had many others. We've sold billions of dollars of the products and services. We've made countless millionaires. And, it's a really, in its 13th year, there's no platform like that. You get 100 million eyeballs seeing your product or service after a year of syndication. You can't buy that anywhere. And the Sharks have millions of followers. I'm able to invest in a business, reduce its customer acquisition costs, tell the story of what they do. And I think in the long run, it goes on forever because it's an iconic platform now. It does something that's really great. It helps people realize the American dream. There's nothing wrong with that.
And you guys were nominated for reality competition show and then an outstanding host as well. Was that the first time that you were nominated for the hosting gig, or has that happened before?
No, I think it's our third time for hosting.
Okay.
We're being optimistic. If you think I'm bad now, if I win that Emmy, we don't even know each other anymore. It's going to be horrible.
Oh, man. I just was going for the fact that, in terms of folks don't see this very much, but those who vote do see a for your consideration video that's put out there. And there was a particular host on the Zoom this year for that conversation, Kevin. And there is an I in Rich and Eisen. Do I get a little bit of credit for some of these nominations based on my stewardship of these conversations?
Phenomenal job in it.
Thank you, Kevin.
And if I win that Emmy, we're going to be friends forever. I can tell you. I take it back.
What if we don't? What if you don't? Though?
We won 4. Oh, I'm just going to have to be an ostrich with my head in the sand. I don't know. I mean, I think we do a great job on that show.
Yeah.
We've won 4 Emmys for the show and the producers. We think as hosts, we've steered that ship a long time. I think we've done a pretty good job, but you never know. The Academy has to vote.
Yes.
Members are voting. Hopefully they're looking at what we've done this year. Last year we shot that show in an extraordinary situation because of COVID. We were locked in a hotel for almost 2 months, never going outside, and we did it safely. Nobody got sick, and the pandemic was raging. And I think you got to hand it to the producers to pull that off. We had like 220 people on that set, everybody getting tested every day. And so it worked, and I think the television industry has figured out that maybe COVID in one form or another is going to be around, and we need new safety protocols, and that's what's going to happen. I wanted to bring up one thing, Rich, about tonight's show that I think you may find pretty different.
Go for it.
There's a case tonight that most people think litigation is because businesses fail and people are suing to get the last of the assets. There's a case tonight, the craziest thing I've ever seen. It was a couple of partners, and you'll recognize it right away, that had a business that was phenomenally successful. Pre-tax earnings like I've never seen on a cash flow basis. I didn't even believe the numbers until I saw the statements. I thought it couldn't be true. And get this, they were suing each other. I thought I was in a different universe. I said, who sues out of success? You guys are making a fortune. What are you doing? Like, how is it possible that you would grind to a halt and litigate with this much cash flow flying around? And that's this case you got to see. It's nuts. It's beyond nuts. You couldn't make it up. It's so crazy.
That'll be tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on CNBC every single Wednesday night. And maybe we can have 2 guys here on my show come in front of your court if one of them doesn't pay off the bet of giving somebody a breakfast because their alma mater lost to the other in the NCAA tournament. That's what's going on here. I know that might not raise to the level of reaching the money court, Kevin, but that's the conundrum I face.
Well, no, I'd love to bring something like that because I'd ask Ada to put her robes back on and throw one of you in jail. That would be fantastic.
There you go. There you go. Kevin O'Leary ruling from the bench. Thanks for the call, Kevin. Let's do this again anytime. I appreciate it.
Take care, Rich.
Right back at you. At Kevin O'Leary TV, Twitter and Instagram. Check him out. Money Court, 10 p.m. Eastern tonight and every Wednesday on CNBC. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.